marriage is a legal prostitution. This kind of statement seemed vulgar to us. That okay, maybe it's some kind of Western connotation, but it is not true. That we are just questioning legal institution of marriage. But frankly speaking, reading this book, marriage seems somewhat like 11 minutes thing, because
Okay.
normally not for everyone, but normally, because there is in marriage there are no such good feelings, uh, as we started seeing in Maria's character, that she started attracted towards, maybe I think he is Ralph, and he started attracting, and he started moving from physical love to spiritual love, and this kind of spiritual love is missing in many couples, not all, but in many couples.
All right.
So
Can you
and
explain to me a little bit what you are trying to? Yeah, there is something is mentioned, but the one you are mentioning, maybe you have a. I want to understand a bit more. The spiritual love you mentioned.
uh, love is not limited to physical intimacy, physical relationship. Love can be spiritual, and these things she is trying to invoke.
Okay.
Mm.
All right.
And secondly,
Okay.
secondly I just love I just like what that even a club or even a prostitution has some codes, and when they are fighting they don't involve police and law enforcement agencies. They can decide their things on their own within the premises of club,
Like an underworld.
like in underworld. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what is the most intriguing thing for you here up till now in these 160 pages so far?
The
Is it
intriguing
come out,
thing is
did the book come out same as you expected, or it came out a bit different than your expectation?
it has developed. At least it is intriguing now. It started attracting us,
Okay.
that okay, Maria is not, definitely she is protagonist, and protagonist is not someone who is she is a round character. So we see character development in her. She started moving from physical love to spiritual love, and she is liking that kind of love.
You want to add anything more?
I think I am done.
All right. Dr.
You
Mahasan,
said she
would you
moved
like to
from,
go?
you
Or
said,
you would like to go next?
wait a minute, excuse me 1 second. You said she moved from physical love to spiritual love?
Yeah, he said, yeah.
Did she ever have physical love though in the beginning though? But like besides family and stuff, right? She did family. She did fantasize about it though, right?
Of
About
physical
love.
physical love, or physical pleasure, or whatever you call that.
So she
What
just
she's asking,
discovered love, period.
what Khadija is asking, that did she start from the physical to the spiritual, or was it vice versa or something? This is what
But
she's
the
saying. She
spiritual love
was,
is experiencing, and she experiencing love, I think, for the first time with what she's going through with this guy. I think.
no, she
Okay.
had the before some experiences
she
in
she she
Brazil.
had been physical relations uh, even before joining Milan's
Yeah,
club.
yeah,
So
yeah, in Brazil.
in
Yeah,
Brazil.
with the boy and all of that, the shopkeeper. Yeah,
Yep,
okay.
yep.
All right, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
All right.
But do we call that love though? Were they just transactions? That's not love.
We can't call love, but it can be player, physical player.
Let's go with the dictionary of Sajid. So let's go ahead with his definition of the word. All right.
Well, she
Who
thought
would
she
like
was
to go
in
first?
love at least. I want to say add that
Yeah.
when she was with maybe not the shopkeeper. I don't think she was in love with the shopkeeper, but the boy that she gave her virginity to, she thought felt she was in love with him.
Yeah, I mean, I would not interrupt. Go ahead. I mean, there are many instances and many points of view. So who would like to go first? Second?
I
Dr.
guess
Nasir,
I'll
are you
jump.
ready?
Hey,
I'll jump.
Paul,
I'll jump.
auntie, you call auntie
I
already.
think let Yasmin go because Yasmin wasn't with us
Okay,
last
Yasmin,
week.
go ahead.
So I'd like to
Ray was also
see
saying,
how far
yeah, Ray,
she's
you are next
feeling
after
now.
Yasmin.
Because last week was lively and Yas was not with us. So I'd like to see how Yasmin feels so far about
Thank
it.
you. I'm having like mixed emotions about the book because
Okay.
like I'm enjoying the book, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to discuss this with this group because it's a bit spicy. And I'm in a couple of different book clubs, and I'm like, now my all girls book club, we could have a really good open discussion about this, but I kind of feel like I have to be a
I'll
little
be right
guarded,
back. The
a
maintenance
little bit.
man is-
But two interesting things that I like about the book, or that I'm enjoying, is the first one is how Maria is using her journal to kind of to show her true self, because like what she writes in her journal is sometimes totally opposite of what she's doing in real life. So like she wanted to move to Geneva to be an actor, and so I think she is acting and playing a part. And then when she gets home to her apartment and she's writing in her journal, her true self and her true feelings are coming out. And the second interesting thing that I like is the dynamic or the difference between Ralph and Terrence, because they are totally opposite. So when Ralph came into the picture, I was thinking, okay, she has found her love. She's going to be with Ralph. He's going to sweep her off her feet. And that's going to be how the story ends. That's going to be like the happily ever after of the fairy tale that had started. But then here comes Mr. Terrence, and he's totally opposite of from Ralph. But that with with Terrence, that was the first time that she's felt her own physical pleasure, and she's starting to fall for Ralph as well. Terrence. Sorry, Terrence. She's falling for two guys, and so she's gonna have to make a choice. And I'm
Who
just
was Tam?
wondering
Who was Tam? Ralph Hart is
who
the
she's gonna do.
British
Ralph Hart
guy.
is the painter
Ralph is
guy,
the
right?
artist. Mm-hmm.
Who
Rafa
was Terrence?
is the Swiss guy, and
Oh,
Terence
oh, the
is the
special
British
client
guy.
guy.
Yes.
Yeah, the British guy, the special
Yeah.
client.
That's married to the English entertainer.
Yeah.
And she learned from here that pain is a part of player.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Can
So
I
yeah,
go
All
right
right.
quick? Because the maintenance guy's getting ready to come change the washing machine out, and it's gonna make a lot of noise. So can I go right quick? I can
Okay.
listen,
Okay.
but I won't be able to talk.
All right. All right.
All
Ray
right.
wanted to
So,
go first, I think. Next, I
oh,
think. You want?
sorry,
Are
who wants
you
to go?
done, Yasmin?
yeah, I'm
Oh,
done.
sorry,
Thank
Yasmin
you.
finished. Okay,
Khadija, you were saying you
so
want to switch off the machine, or you want to?
yeah, I wanted to go ahead and get my few points in case they come
All
back.
right.
They know they're gonna come switch out the washing machine.
All right. All right.
So I know like on page 102, it says something like the universe only makes sense when we have someone to share our feelings with. So I was just like intrigued with like so many things with that, with like with things happen, like finding like this love thing, the way they was like weaving the poetry, it was a little confusing to me, but I'm thinking I kind of understand now that they in the sadistic part, which which is also interesting. I don't know if y'all got into the sadistic part yet. Y'all get to the sadistic part yet? So that kind of like took me,
Unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
That's where
So
the Terrence came.
that's when the Terrence. But I thought that Terrence was so I must have something mixed up with the sadistic part. I thought what she experienced with the sadistic person with the whip and her first
Yeah,
orgasm,
that's
I thought that
Terrence.
that
That
was
was
with Ralph.
Terrence.
That's
No, that was
That,
Terrence.
Terrence.
Oh
yeah,
my
that's
goodness.
Terrence.
What the heck was I reading last night? She did
Maybe
that
you are
with
half asleep. Maybe you were half asleep or half in the emotions.
Terrence.
Yeah,
Yes. That's why I said now she's gonna have to make a choice.
yeah, she is
Who
into
she
kind
gonna
of a
pick?
dilemma. Could
Who
be.
came back into town and said, well, my wife, who married to the
Terrence.
Yeah, that's Terrence.
Terrence.
oh, he married to the girl with
Yep,
the music
yep,
The
career.
yep,
singer.
Oh my
Yes.
God, I
yeah.
got the guys mixed up. Oh my
Maybe you
goodness.
need to read it again.
No, I don't need to read that again.
All
I was like,
right.
Maria was in there putting me down on some game because I
Ah,
was like,
you were
some of the
thinking
stuff.
about she's transforming with Ralph.
Yes, when she was like, take off your clothes and do it. I thought she was with Ralph all that time. Oh
Mm,
my
that
gosh.
was the other part, but after
I
that,
thought
probably
Terrence was a I thought Terrence, the
no, no,
special client, was a one-off. He was just a one-off kind of
no,
thing.
no,
And you never saw
no.
him. Okay. Now,
All
what
right,
else did I
page
have? That's
102,
too long.
next.
Okay, so then I had for page 149, does the like it says something about the world enjoys pain and suffering. So I was saying, but does the world enjoy pain and suffering? Do we really get off on enjoying other people's pain and stuff like that, or watching like, especially like now when I watch the news and all kind of things like that? I'm like, am I really getting like numb to this thing going on? Am I kind of like enjoying it too? Like, I I don't know.
I don't
Anyway,
think she
That's
meant
a
pain
bit
and
different.
suffering of
Yeah,
other
that's a
people. I
he
think
different
meant
she
kind
pain
of,
and suffering with the
pain.
like
yes,
with
your
the like
own
With
being
kind of
tied
thing.
up
Yeah.
at the same time and gagged.
mm-hmm.
Can't believe that was Terrence still.
Yes.
Not that that changed anything, but yeah, that was kind of weird when she did that because I'm some kind
Thousand
of body. I don't
francs.
like constriction. So I don't know how that would work for me. I would kind of think that like if somebody put something like over my face, even like when you the Muslim women with the face veil, if it was mandatory to do that, they probably would be like bopping me in the head all the time. Put that thing over your face, put that thing on, because it's just something I don't know. How could you even relax? How could you eat for somebody? Maybe because she didn't have a lot of issues, but how could somebody allow yourself to even relax while somebody is
For,
inflicting pain
probably,
on you? That was messing me up.
probably first it was the 1,000 francs who pulled her up into this, and the second one could be the kind of adventure, and she wanted to go to the next level. That's how the people, when they have nothing to do, or they want to still think that there is another world after that, there is another floor after that,
So Terrence is her person.
right? Okay. What else you have?
Um, that's it. Something else I had down here, but I can't even make sense out of it. Yeah, when she was talking, like on around the page 116 area, I think when they was talking about the desire, true desire, untouched, pure, all of that sound the same to me. As like, but maybe that's what people that I don't know that think about this. I don't even know to say love on this kind of level or whatever. Like, I don't even know what that is, how to break desire up into them different categories to say it's pure desire, it's untouched, like I don't know,
Okay.
emotionally. So respect the importance of each
All right.
second.
Okay, I
Mm.
will
Good
let
thing.
yes,
Yes.
go ahead, Sajid.
I want to add something. Good thing about Western society is it always provided chances for rehabilitation, rehabs chances. For example, she is a prostitute and she can move to normal world. But
So you call it a rehabilitation?
at least she can enter into normal world, regular world. But even here in my scenario, if an actor is a dance, if a girl is a stage actress and then she goes to normal life, she goes to regular life, she suffers torture, she is always blamed for what she did in her previous life. So so, so some societies are not that open, uh, are are not
No, they haven't
that
reached to that level.
embracing,
Yeah.
are not that embracing as Western society is.
Okay. All right. Okay, I will ask Ray to go ahead as he said something he wanted to go ahead. Yes, Ray?
Yeah. So can you guys hear me? I'm in the car and the AC going.
We cannot hear you very well, Ray.
Can not hear me?
We can hear you, but like from very far.
Okay. So skip me. Wait till I get to my location. Just go ahead and skip me.
What did you say?
Go ahead and skip me until I get somewhere where I have a better reception. I'm driving.
Okay.
Just skip me. Just skip me.
All right. Okay. Dr. Mahasan?
So I have a couple of things. I think at the beginning of the book, I wrote in our chat that, you know, there were things I had to kind of veil my ears and my eyes to, because as Yaz said, it's not a conversation I would normally have in a mixed group. And it's not a conversation I would be more open to with both genders in the room. So some of it at the beginning, I think I mentioned in the beginning, it was kind of like, okay, wait a minute now, what am I reading this for? I had never read any of Paulo's books before. So it took me a minute to kind of not be judgmental. Three things I found out about Maria from last week and this week is that one, she's almost like, and she has this addictive behavior. She is always seeking the next thing to make her feel better, to help her to find herself. Um, if you remember in the library, the librarian said to her, she mentioned something in the library and said, yeah, even people who use drugs, they think they can stop, but they can't, right?
Mm-hmm.
And almost like her, she came to do one thing, she ended up doing something else. She had a goal that she would leave in 90 days, but then something else came in her way to kind of like move her to try something else. So she's always like trying to find the next thing, whether, yes, it is through sexuality, but it also, as I think everybody's been mentioning, it allows her to love, it allows her to experience this human part of herself. It allows her to continue to value herself. And even though she's chosen this profession, she doesn't allow like what people think of her. When she was in the cafe with the painter, she, you know, out loud in front of everyone, yes, I'm a prostitute, having no shame. And that goes back to what Ray said in the first meeting, is that people go into that profession for many different reasons, and we think that everyone is doing this for the same reason, but they are not, right? I want to touch on when Sajid talked about pleasure and pain. I could there was a certain amount of there's a certain amount of the pleasure that I could relate with pleasure. Let me take that back. Sorry, that's not coming out right. The experience of what is going to come next, my concern was, why did she, I don't know, she can't say no. it's almost like she has to try it, right? She has to try it to see what else is it going to bring into her life, or what does she have to lose. So I'm kind of concerned about this character. In the beginning, she strikes me as this very strong, know what she wants, kind of get what she wants, take what she needs, and get out. But I don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of chapters. But she just seems, she's like an addict. She cannot get enough. Like, she has to see what the next high is going to bring her. Whether it's spirituality, whether it's sexuality, whether it's getting to know herself, whether it's judging herself, whether it's freedom to be who she wants, to discover herself in any way that she likes it, without worrying about the judgment of others. But she does strike me of having this addictive behavior. Like, it's never enough for her, and it's always, okay, let me try a little bit more. So I'd like, I can't wait to see where we go with this, because when I was reading the part with Terrence, I'm like, does she have any boundaries? I'm not, like, I don't know if she has any boundaries. So that's my part.
Auntie, how far did you get into the book when you say she doesn't have into the boundaries? Because
I mean, it seems like everything I read only up
to the 160s.
Yeah, I read up to 160, but from page 1 until now, she pushes the envelope a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more.
So isn't that what most people do when they find their way in life, especially like people, I think especially like a generation, sometimes people just get put out there, figure it out for yourself. Look at granddaddy, figure it out for yourself and get out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. It's just, I think reading it and seeing that this woman is, she's making her own decisions about what she wants in her life and whether or not she wants to keep it in her life. When she no longer has use for it, she discards it, and she doesn't really allow anyone to make a decision about who she is or who she's going to be. So it's this, does she settle down? Like, at the end, does she choose between, well, she can't really choose between Terrence and Ralph, because Terrence is married, unless she then chooses to be the other woman. And again, that's still pushing the envelope, I don't know. It's interesting that we see so much in this character. And we see so many things that are in that, like you said, people are going through it every single day. She just happens to be a prostitute. But when Ray said, Dr. Ray said last week, there are people who are prostitutes and know exactly what they're doing. And they're not doing it because they're on drugs, or they have they're alcoholics, or they're just thrown out in the streets. They have many, many different reasons. And again, we would say, a call girl sounds pretty, compared to a prostitute, but they're doing the same thing,
Yeah, there are the many names too.
Yeah. So she's interesting to me in that, I don't know, would we call her a thoroughly modern woman? Like, seriously, if we were just in a room of women, how would we really perceive her without being judgmental, or could we not? I'm not really sure.
Repeat that question.
I said, if this was just a group of women, how would we really perceive this character without being judgmental? Because we all come from different backgrounds.
Some people might perceive her as being like a Stella of the group. I'm just saying, because when I was going through like some of the things, seriously, I was like, something she was talking about, like, I don't know, like such as saying like a spiritual kind of love or whatever. I was just like, I've never had, being married for years, whatever, I've never experienced something like that where Mujah had to just say, well, let's just sit here and just look at, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some stuff keeping it real, I've never even experienced that. Like, so I thought she was giving me some game for a minute, like between them 120 pages or somewhere in there. I thought that before it got to the other part, but like I said, that was just like she just left, nothing happened along those parts or whatever. Before the tape and stuff came, it was the pages before the tape part came.
Yeah.
I would
I don't
say
know. I thought some stuff was
that
kind of pure. I don't know. Go ahead, yeah.
when I would say that she would be described as a fearless, sexually uninhibited young lady, young woman. Because like you said, she doesn't say no. She tries everything, and she thoughtfully plans it out. Well, if this happens, I'll do this. If this happens, I'll do this. So she's planning her moves. She's not going into it recklessly. So even as she's saying yes, she's not doing it recklessly, but she's adventuresome.
And
I
maybe
can
that's some place
appreciate
that
that.
she have to go down deeper low. Because remember how many men just come by, the regulars just come by, whatever. That's a feeling that you gotta suppress so many people on you constantly like that, So maybe they experience something different. I don't
I
know.
mean,
But like her experience with Ralph was totally different. Like just sitting and talking to him in front of the fire,
That's
going
why
to
I
his
thought
house.
she was with the
That was
same person
different.
when somebody like lit all the candles around. That's why I
yep.
thought it was the same person. But now I
The,
remember when she
And
said
and
we went
then
back to that same room by that same
that
window by the
hotel,
picture of the lake. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And
I
so
remember.
when Terrence came, she remember he said the first time you could ask questions, and so she did. She asked her questions, and then when he came back the second time, she was ready. She said yes because she had thought about it. And she didn't
yeah.
say
I
no. She
mean,
said yes because
even
she
even
wanted
even
these experiences. She wanted these
yeah.
see what it
Yeah, I
was
mean,
like.
like when these thoughts simmered down to her in the first thing, and then the first time it could be she was unaware of it, but second time definitely it was her choice.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And
I was even thinking about the answer to Dr. or like a kind of because you guys all belong to the American society and the culture there, and the rest of the world culture. But I have read a lot about, but not really. I would not say that I really understand the level of the the moral, how I would say moral backgrounds or the culture that whatever is prevailing that culture that in the Brazilian society, probably what I have heard of, that it's kind of, as I said last week, that it is legally allowed, the prostitution is legally allowed in Brazil and it is like a very high number. Every second person or a woman you would see on the street probably would have been into that profession for some time or something like that, or anybody would have some kind of close relatives into this one. So, as related to that one, how you would identify that person probably is a relative question in terms of your relative culture or the moral standards. Probably it would be in a different time, in a different kind of a zone, and then into their own society. This is my understanding.
can
Tamara,
we
you are waiting. Yes, go
yes,
ahead. Started. Yes, go ahead.
can we call that she was predestined to that kind of role because she had been
Predestined to?
to that kind of role. She had been provided
You're talking
limited
about it was written in her kind of a fate.
destiny. Yeah, she had been provided limited choices. She went there on a vacation, and she was, and then
Okay, we will discuss. I
she
have some
was.
points when I will come to my discussion points. I will talk about. Yes, Tamara.
Um, I just kind of just recently caught up, so but because I was a little bit behind. I'm sorry, I'm in the dark, but I'm not in the dark. I don't know what's going on.
We can hear
Um,
you.
I I haven't gotten into the whole S&M thing or whatever. I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm close to those pages. But I haven't gotten there yet. So that was a kind of a surprise. I'm like, oh, okay. Um, so, but I do agree from like the beginning of the book to where I am now, she seems to be open to whatever, but kind of calculated. Like she's like, well, let me learn about what you're asking me. And then once I kind of learn about it, then I can make my decisions to say either yes or no. So from what I'm hearing from you guys with this new guy, Terrence, he's into whips and chains and tying people up and all that stuff. He's into the S&M, which I've read books that have had those themes in it before. So she kind
But
of took some time, learned about it, and so she came back. So from where
but
I'm
she
at now, where she,
but she came back. Do you think she came back?
well, from what Yasmin said, he asked her, and then he came back, and then she said yes to. She agreed to it. They didn't. It didn't happen. Did it happen the first time that they met, or did they meet? I'm not there yet. I
Mm,
haven't gotten to his
okay.
meeting. I'm still in her meeting with the artist. So I'm
Yeah,
No,
kind of,
I was.
he asked her to ask any questions, and she asked about safe words, safe, because he said safe word for us, and she said, "What do you mean us?" And he said, "Either one of us," right?
Yeah.
And and at the beginning, I think, remember when she first came to the Copacabana, she said, "I want to learn what I need to learn to be the best I can for my clients, so that I can meet those special clients." So she is definitely,
I mean,
paying attention.
she never said yellow or whatever the other color
No, but
was.
she didn't know those words
Red.
existed until he told her. Red and yellow. Yeah, she
so
didn't know
yeah,
that.
so red means stop, yellow means slow down.
You're right.
If
So
you've
she
read
never
books,
used it either first time or
yeah.
second time.
So I haven't gotten to that part yet. So I'm like, okay. The book was already kind of,
Just
I wouldn't
hold
necessarily
on.
say
Look, hold
racy.
on to your
Yeah,
panties.
I wouldn't necessarily say racy for me
Looks
because
like
I've
Yasmin
read,
has read beyond 160.
but now I'm like, oh, okay, it's more coming. Um, so I and I also agree with Yasmin and Mahasan. If this wasn't a mixed group, how would she be perceived? Would we, as women, would women really rally around her and say she's owning her sexuality? Or on the opposite, would women say, oh, she's just a slut, she's this, she's that, she's this young girl? I look at Maria as she's just kind of coming into her own and she's
I
trying to
will
figure out,
I will ask you at this point, because you raised that point now. You see, always there is a dream in her mind that she wants to
yes,
go be a farm girl.
right.
Why she wants to be a farm girl?
I
If
think
that
I
one is
think
what she wants
that's
to, she's
I
okay with
think
that.
that is what I think that whole thing about the farm comes from the small town growing up in Brazil. Like, if you don't get married, then this is an option, you know?
Yes, I think that's her
So
settling.
that's her settling, like,
Since
okay,
she couldn't get the fame
I
or the
didn't get the
fortune
fame or
and
the
she
fortune
didn't want to
or the
stay
rich
in the
husband,
prostitution forever.
right?
That's
So
something
like
respectable
farming
that she
being,
could do
yeah,
back home.
farming, like
So
my
so
husband said,
it means
normal
whatever she has,
acceptance.
even, yeah, she has written different stages, whatever she could perceive. It could be this, and in the end of the life. So basically, by, as even Dr. Mahasan wrote in the messages also, that it is kind of like acceptance by the society, the way the norms and the people, the project, whatever they do. Yeah, the Swiss society is probably more closed, that they mind their own business, but like Brazil is a big country, and like yeah,
But she comes
go
from a
ahead.
small town where
Yeah.
everybody kind of knows everybody. So I think the whole thing with the farming is
Hmm.
that's her, like my husband said, that's her retirement, that's her
Plan.
safety, you know.
Hmm
So
hmm
if she comes back with this money and she buys this farm, like she can pretend maybe she made this money from a ethical way, or what, what
I
her
don't know about pretend, but maybe it would reduce the number or the amount of questions
of
she might
questions of people
have.
will ask her, how did you get this money to buy this? So like I think that's her maybe dream, but like Mahasa has said, she makes this plan and she's like, yeah, 90 days I'm out, I'm leaving. And then something else of interest comes that makes her stay. And then now
Pulls her
she's
back
getting
in.
Okay.
from what you guys are saying, she's getting deeper and deeper into um the sex
Yeah,
world.
she's going from knee to the neck.
Yes. So So I am interested to see to read more because it seems like it's gonna get even more spicy. So okay. So I'm going to the pool when we end. So this will be my pool read.
Now, last week, the other brother, he was saying that, what's his name? Omar, right? Omar. He
Yeah,
was
I was
saying that,
thinking.
I can't
Yeah,
imagine, I could see where this book is ending. So I thought it was going to end up with like a kidnapping. The way I was like, no, I hope it would be like a nice little love story that Tamara could take to the beach with her.
I was thinking even that he might ran away or kind of the heat that could
Yeah.
generate.
See,
So
I
the
thought it
young.
was when we first started reading, I thought it was gonna be a kidnapping. Like I thought she was
Okay.
gonna get
Let's
kidnapped
see.
from the very
Yeah,
beginning.
let's see. Ray has reached somewhere or
I
still
thought she was
driving.
going to get kidnapped from like when she just met this random man. He's like, yeah, I want
Yes.
Brazilian girls. I thought they were going to kidnap her and it was going to be like a
Mm-hmm.
sex
Sex
slavery thing.
trafficking. Yes.
Cause look,
Yes.
didn't he go talk to her father or something too before he took
Yeah.
her?
Talk
Yeah,
mama and
Both
mama
of
too.
them,
mom and
Yeah.
dad,
mom
yeah.
and dad as well. Ray, have you reached somewhere where you can be on your other sound system, or you're still driving? All right. Okay, I will give my inputs. Well, as last time Tamara said that probably it's on the adult side. The book is like it could have been like there could be other perspectives of looking at the life of that one rather than that kind of words he used to express things. So as I said, I could understand that she's always in the struggle where she would or everybody and anybody would have been in that situation that you could say yes or you could say no. So that kind of a struggle, so she always kind of comes to the yes part rather than no part. So she hasn't learned to say no yet, in my understanding, in my uh, kind of the way I was thinking that probably she would reach to the next level of maturity when she would be able to say yes at some time of her choice. But still, at the moment, she's just like walking on a slippery slope. So she's just like slipping with the kind of thing that's and also uh, people would use different when they have reached to certain level of kind of stagnancy in their lives. So they want to use some ecstasies or things, and so that they want to say that this life is for enjoyment. So what is the next level? So what is the next level? So even whenever they reach to some kind of even a calm life or whatever, there would be thousands of women of that kind of financial background or status that would be living in Brazil and they would be living a perfectly normal or happy life, probably. Happiness doesn't come with the money or things. Yes, there are some reasonable requirements with money, but you see all these, there are lots of rich people in United States or all over the world. Do you see their lives happy? I mean, like top levels, they're getting divorced and things. So I was like kind of thinking that she has to still learn the level of maturity to be able to say no. She's always thinking about she would come back. Probably it's a far distant dream at the moment and still so far. Although she's 23, And some of the things which were looking kind of incoherent for a 23-year-old girl, and some of the things are really kind of high level things that she's dreaming of, as Yasmin mentioned, that she becomes a different person when she's writing the diary or that journal. So for me, I'm seeing that there is always a struggle, but she cannot say no yet. Maybe it's the kind of adventure or adventurism in her that takes her to the next level, but she's not able to come back to the next level. Think like when she went to that Swiss dancing club, she was just doing the dance there. Or like, what was the name of that dance? The Brazilian dance?
Samba.
The samba. So
Samba.
she went as a samba dancer. So there was not much wrong as compared to where she is now into the saddest kind of a situation. So in my opinion, it becomes like, as the bookseller said, that the people, they see that they would be able to leave that addiction, but she's not able to. Ray, you are there? Ray, we can't hear you. So for like, and
One more thing.
also for the Brazilian kind of a culture, I'm still like seeing that. And I was thinking, Paulo could have, because he's from Brazil, so he could have even described that one with more kind of a humane, like that level of feeling. At the moment, I don't see her heart somewhere. She's trying to save it, kind of thing. She's not like, she's scared to like let her heart be, or discover herself even.
And could it be that she wants something different, that everything that everybody else, that something different apart from what everybody else says pleasure is, because she sees so much of just the action of the Copacabana in and out, the people, the revolving door with that, and you find something that's different that you're doing to arrive your pleasure. Because I'm
Yeah,
quite
she's
like,
from the
like
right from the beginning.
I
If
don't
you see, when
know.
she was just like going to school and like she was 7, 8 years old girl, at that time even she wanted to be different by doing something different rather than learning something more. Yes, Ray, you are still on the road. We'll try to hear from you.
I
Yeah.
do, oh, I do think that because she comes from a small town, she's beautiful. She's always been told that she's beautiful. Um, th- that is Ray, he's here. Okay, we cannot hear you at all.
No,
I
no, go
do,
ahead and continue. Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. I do think that, like, that small town, big dreams type of thing, she doesn't want to settle for just getting married to whomever. She wants, because she was kind of, it seems like, and especially from where I am, at the book, in the book, from the beginning, she wants this relationship, and she wants this, what her idea of love should be, you know, and it's not sex. She says, I remember a part of the book where she talks about, when she lost her virginity, and it was like, okay, this is it. This can't be it. Because, when she talks about masturbation and how, when her father caught her, he punished her. I think he slapped her or something, so she learned to do that in secret. And then she's like, well, I can make my own self feel good. What I need to do for? What do I need this guy for? And it's kind of like she has these ups and downs where she wants this great love for whatever it means to her. And or this great relationship, but she doesn't know how to get it. So she's open to trying. I hope not anything, but I don't know.
I have
But
some question for you. I have some question for you. It reminded me of last time I wrote in the group that you remember we were talking about empathy and sympathy. Do you see a different kind of empathy when he's talking about the one you're defined, and then what Ray was saying, the literal meaning of empathy, the feeling of the pain, and like when even you didn't suffer it actually, but when you imagine the other one, and then you put into yourself into that kind of a mode that you actually feel the pain of that and suffering. That's the literal meaning of. So how do you find it?
I mean, I do with Maria.
Yeah.
I
But I'm
do.
talking about the concept that the writer has put in the writing, that there was some kind of thing that she was empathizing in different situations in there, that she was trying to feel the pain of it, and rather than she didn't suffer it by herself, but she was trying. And also the writer has mentioned that people were trying to do different kind of stuff to pain themselves, to alleviate the pain of the rest of the society.
Oh, I don't think I've gotten that far yet in the book
Okay.
yet. But like you guys said, it's more to come. And so I'm excited to read.
Yasmin predicted it's more to come. I don't know.
You know, I was, like I said, I was expecting this to possibly be some type of, we did talk about prostitution. So then I was thinking, was she going to be sold into prostitution? Was she going to be forced into it? So when I started reading it, that she kind of chose it, and like she's making like all these rules for herself. She's learning these rules, don't kiss, don't do this, don't do that. But then she's also making rules for herself. And it seems like her big goal is to, well, I want to make as much money as I can because I want to go back home. But then I want to also experience as much as I can because, like her mom said, beauty fades. You're not going to be this cute, beautiful woman forever, young girl. So I think that she's like, I'm going to, like most young people, 20s, I want to experience it all. I want to experience everything. And these situations are coming up for her. And she's like, okay, I'll do some research and then maybe I'll try it. And so I don't know if she doesn't have an ability to say no. I'm not sure about that. But I think because she has this kind of adventurer spirit, that she's like, okay, I'll try it. I do kind of agree that I kind of see she may have like maybe some type of addictive personality because she says yes to everything. But on the flip side, she is very calculated with her yeses. She learns about different things and different subjects before she makes certain decisions. So I'm definitely looking forward to
Okay, let's listen to
reading more.
Yasmin. She was going to say something when I said, Yasmin said that there is a lot more to come.
I was just gonna say that I didn't read ahead. I stopped at page 161.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
even
All right,
from
Ray.
the
so
part from where she is to the end of 161,
Yeah,
there's
I'm
still a lot
behind.
to come.
Ray,
Yeah,
so
yes.
I'm behind.
Yeah, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, can
Can you
hear
hear me now?
better. Yeah, but
All
much
right.
better.
All right. So, couple of things. One, I agree with Yasmin, and the good doctor in that I would never have, what the topics and the occurrences in this book. I would never talk to anyone about whether male or female. Um, so I'm glad that you keeping it quite academic. But um, as I read the book, I think everybody is missing one little part. Maria says yes. Maria is in total control of her faculties. She is a young woman exploring the world, but she knows exactly when to say yes and no. She may not know that she was going to say yes, but it was a situation that popped up to her, all to her advantage. 1,000 francs, good looking guy, wealthy, but more importantly, Maria knows who to say yes to and who to say no to, right? And this is for me as as a male who grew up in the States. There's a culture that we have a rites of passage. I don't know if Mr. Hassan or Mr. Sajid experienced this rite of passage, but in the West we have a rite of passage, and that's going to strip clubs, right? Um, when you're a young man, that's one of the things that you do is you go to strip clubs, right? And some guys don't ever break themselves out of it, and but almost most men, not all, but most men go to strip clubs. And one of the things that you will notice is that the ladies that work in these clubs, they will say yes to somebody and no to somebody else. So a guy could say something and it be very offensive to her, and then 5 minutes later, another guy could say the same exact thing, right? And she's totally cool with it. And that's just the nature of Maria, right? Terrence was able to do what he did because he's Terrence. Something about Terrence attracts Maria, just like there's something about uh, 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 Raph that attracts Maria. Maria is winning, and that's the key here, and that's the point that I was trying to make in the first last week. Maria is winning. She's making decent money. She's saving money. She's in control of every bit of her existence here, right? So she has a lot of flexibility because she's in so much control, and she's in she has what? I think last time we checked, she had 60,000 I don't know, euro. I don't know if they were euro or what, francs.
Franks.
Francs saved that. So she's totally in control. She could have left, gone home, you know, a way back. But because everything is so favorable for Maria, it gives her a lot of latitude to explore because these men are gentlemen, right? She's not in some back alley strip club. Like, she's in a respectable spot. The owner doesn't play that. The girls got into a fight, he kicked them out. He doesn't play around, right? So she's in this profession, she's probably in the best situation she could possibly be in. Decent clientele, a relatively respectful owner. Last week we called him a pimp. I don't think he's a pimp. This is a legal thing. It's grid like and it's kind of frowned upon, but it's acceptable in that culture. So he's not a pimp. He's getting a commission, but I don't think he qualifies as a pimp. Um, she has freedom. She can say no if she doesn't want to. I mean, she wants to, she can say no. Even when she says no, it plays into her advantage. The situation with Terrence, she initially said no. Terrence handled it like a gentleman. Everything is working out in Maria's favor. So it gives her a lot of latitude to explore. Because if Terrence was a total asshole, excuse my French, that wouldn't have went down between her and Terrence. But the way Terrence played it, he played his cards exactly right with Maria. So, and that's something about Terrence, which that allowed her to open up to just like there's something about what's his name, Raph, that allows her to be attracted to him. So I think we're dealing in a situation where we have a young girl who's in the best possible situation, which gives her a lot of latitude to keep on playing the game. I was thinking as I was reading this, I was thinking about what's the show with the suitcases? Not Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. What was the show with the suitcases?
Deal or No Deal.
Deal or No Deal. That's what this is like. And Maria is just on a hot streak. She's not, all her suitcases are coming up 1 penny, $10, $100. She's winning. She can keep on going, right? And when the banker calls her, the banker is giving her wonderful offers because she's on a hot streak. Now, I don't know if that hot streak is going to die in the future pages and things take a turn for her. But right now, the reason why she's having all these experiences, which allows her to learn about her sexuality, because I think this is really not about her, but really about her sexuality. I don't think she really is learning about anything about herself other than her
Ray, I have a
sexuality.
question.
So that
Yes,
that
go ahead.
makes her a winner because she's exploring her sexuality because
No,
she's
no, it doesn't. No.
finding pleasure,
It
she
makes her a
getting
winner
paid.
she's a winner because she's not facing some of the obstacles a lot of other prostitutes typically have to face. So she's in the best, if you're going to be a prostitute, you want to be a prostitute in Maria's situation because she has basically all the cards. She has all the cards. Even now, she's now getting 1,000 francs again, right? She got 1,000 francs 3 times. That's 3 times above what the going rate is.
Minus the 150 commission.
But minus the 150. Minus the 150.
I was going to ask Ray actually. And it is pertinent to this question which Yasmin just mentioned out as a point. I mean, what you said is that he's not as a pimp. How do you define a pimp who is not taking the commit? I mean, how do you define that one? What is the other definition in your mind? He's earning money out of those prostitutes or call girls.
A pimp is a negative connotation, even though in today's time.
What do you mean by negative? He doesn't earn where he earns the money from.
No, so this is an establishment. Well, number one, if you want to be 100%, a pimp takes 100% of the girl's money.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Usually a pimp takes all the money.
So he's taking lesser commission, you mean?
That's number one.
His commission is
if
something like
a pimp takes 100%. The girl gets nothing.
But then he invests a lot.
Yeah, but the point is a pimp doesn't give the girl any commission. Yeah, he buys her clothes.
Didn't he let her buy some?
Maybe you know only one kind of one kind of
No. Well,
the ladies have no control over their own lives.
They have no control. If he says
go where he says go, they eat.
Right.
When he says eat, they sleep. When he says sleep.
What I understand,
so the negative connotation to it, as opposed to Milan, a businessman that gets his 150 off the top.
Yeah, he just wants his 150. He's trying to run he's running a good establishment.
See, I want to mess up his good family reputation.
Yeah, and the pimps usually want his girls to service him on demand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but there are the kind of definition or the kind of definition I mean to say in the real practice life, probably you are exposed to. This is the only kind. There are different kinds in the world. Of course,
no, Mr. Hassan, there's only one type of pimp. Okay, everybody else is a pimp will tell you there's only one type of pimp, and that's the pimp that takes 100% and has total control. Right? That's what a pimp will tell you. Everything. What's his name? The manager or the owner? He's not a pimp. Is he making commission? Is he making commission off of sex? Yeah, but it doesn't qualify as a pimp.
He's like the middleman.
Right.
He's the broker.
He's still running
the broker.
The brothel to an extent.
No,
you gotta dance and buy a drink.
No,
he makes sure you buy a drink, and then you gotta.
Okay, Ray,
so
do
like
you
for
know?
instance,
you remember?
A madam.
You remember?
Hold on a second. Will we call a madam a pimp? We don't call a madam a pimp, right? A madam, but a female.
Madam don't take all your money.
But a female. Hold on. hold on a second, but a female could be a pimp. Is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Sure,
Yeah.
Right. So
absolutely.
a madam,
Yes.
a madam is different from a pimp. You can have a female pimp, right?
No,
I
a
know
madam,
Pimp
a
too.
madam
I
run the
actually
house,
know
a
female
madam
pimp.
run the whole
Huh?
house, like my mom run a Copacabana. Let's
Say
face
that
it.
again.
A madam run the
Huh?
whole house, like
I was
Milan
going
run
to
the
say to you,
Copacabana.
I was going to say to you,
This
Ray,
whole prostitute
prostitution,
culture.
yeah,
No, 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 no. A madam you can't call him a madam either,
No,
because
come on.
a madam has some control over her ladies. This guy doesn't have any control. All he wants the girls to do is be, basically treat his establishment. Don't
see,
bring
he
any heat to
says
his
my family
establishment.
runs on your commission.
But Bridget
What?
was talking about the Copacabana where she was
Yeah.
dancing at first, not about this second guy.
Oh,
Right,
the
Bridget? You were talking
yeah,
about when she was
Copacabana.
first at the Copacabana. He was
Yeah.
more of a pimp than this guy, than Marlon.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like more of a, because he was investing in everything, and then he was charging them like way beyond whatever they were earning or whatever they were given. So most of their
Yeah.
earning was
Because
going into
he
their
controlled
No,
expenses.
their
he was a
food,
no.
their
He was
schedule, their
yeah. He was
Yeah.
a
housing.
skip.
He was a
He
true
was
pimp.
more. Yeah, he was more like a pimp, but again, he wasn't a pimp because they were getting some money,
Actually,
right?
I
And
was
and
going
he
to,
ran. He was just a scumbag. We call him a scumbag.
And
He was
wasn't
just a
it though,
scumbag.
like, 'cause even when the police ran up in there and everybody was like, well, nothing to
well,
see here,
I was going
whatever.
to say, I was
Like
going
the
to point
legality
out
of it to a
in the
degree.
two countries which we are talking about, like Brazil and Switzerland, the rules are such that, like as I said in the last meeting, that prostitution is legal in Brazil, but running a brothel is not legal, or any kind of like a kind of a group or something where you have, that is not legal. So as a person, yeah, but there are people who take the commission. They are there, and this is the kind of a similar practice in Switzerland.
Listen, Dr. Masson said the first episode, the world. This is the world's oldest profession, so-called world's oldest profession.
I
And
bingo.
this is a commodity, and you're always going to have brokers. You're always going to have somebody
Yeah,
making money off of this,
yeah,
off of it. You just can't. Anytime anytime you have a commodity, you have many
yeah,
people making money, right?
yeah.
So, do you call those people pimps? Um, I will tell you, as somebody who knows a lot about this, that a pimp is a very negative thing, and
Well,
that's probably one of the worst situations you want to be in if you're a
And if I had
prostitute.
to, and if this was my profession, I would rather have a Milan than the Terrence Howard and It's Hard Out There for a Pimp. What was the name of that show?
the
I was
first
gonna
guy,
say
this
Hustle and Flow.
Hustle and flow. Yeah. Yeah.
what?
So,
So I'm
but
just
and
saying,
that's
I would rather have somebody just give me my cut and let me go on about my business than, as you saying, like Ray, with the negative effects, or like Dr. Austin, like you're saying as well, or whatever. I still would rather be my own broker. If I just got to pay you a little cut for helping me get the
well,
clients or filtering them, because all the guys are respectable to that institution,
and,
that
and,
corporate
and you got
Cabana,
to
they all
remember too.
respectable to that
Keep
place.
this in mind too. Nobody was really looking at Maria until she goes into one of these spots. Remember, she complains about this, right? So should he not get a commission for that, right? Like, he's offering an environment where respectful men are coming to her, because if she had to do on her own, then she would not get these type of respectful guys. She's not going to get a
That's why
record
we
exec.
thought. I think that's why we thought it was gonna be dark, because initially she didn't know no people, and you getting into that profession for the first time on the strength of other people, you could go through some dark
There are
times.
rules. There are
And that
rules for that
and that
place.
that but see, you're making my point exactly.
Yeah.
So when we talk about Maria and her exploits, she's able to do it because she's in such a great situation. If she was in a worse situation, a bad situation, she wouldn't be having these experiences with Terrence and the painter. It'd be a totally different outcome. But because she's in such an ideal situation, quote unquote ideal, take that with a grain of salt, then she's able to have these experiences. and she's going to keep on having these experiences until it turns bad for her, and then we'll see what happens after that.
All right. Okay. It's getting 9:10 now, like more than an hour. And also, I would like to ask Tamara, you have to be ready by next week with your next book, because next week would be our last session for this book. Tamara, you there? Tamara, are you there? Can you hear us?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. It's getting, they're out here mowing, so.
Yeah, I said next week would be our last week for this book. Then you
Okay.
are up for the book. Actually, it was your turn the last time, and then Sajid took
Yeah,
it.
I do have a couple of ideas about some books, so
All
I'm
right.
trying to keep it
You have
light
a week.
and pool friendly.
Yeah, it's up to you. We have a week from here.
I want to mention one more before we go. I figured out there was something wrong with my camera, but I'm gonna try to do it again. There was a clip, I'm a World War II nerd, and I was watching a documentary about World War II, and it was talking about um, the lady when Germany invaded France and had France, what, 3 or 4 years. The ladies were, there were French ladies who were dating the German soldiers.
Yeah.
So when France was liberated, these women were, the first thing they did was drag these women in the street and humiliated them and cut their hair. I was trying to play the clip for you guys. It was only like 2 minutes long.
I've
And
seen that.
the question that I was going to ask is, isn't this going the way of Maria? Like, is Maria in this situation where everything is going fine and well, but is there going to eventually be a turn where she gets her hair cut off? I'm just speaking figuratively. Where she gets her hair cut off? Like, is this book going to be all highs on? And what do you guys feel about that? Do you think those women should have been humiliated? Those French women? I was curious to see what you guys would thought about that.
Well,
Do you?
that was the kind of retaliatory, or kind of the French people felt as like kind of betrayed. So whatever they could do, that kind of humiliation, this is up to their kind of, and different cultures do it in a different way. If you go to Afghanistan, probably it would be much more different. And if you would go to probably Iran, it would be different. In Saudi Arabia, it would be different. So probably, I would not say it was much better treatment that would have gotten in Afghanistan or somewhere else, or not even, I mean, like those Orthodox religious countries, but even in lots of Christian countries. So probably it's a relative thing, yeah.
Would you
And they
call
were,
would you call would you call those women prostitutes?
well, they were kind of, if I could, not only that, when you remember, if you're talking about the Second World War, even there was a character in the First World War, and the first thing that they were doubted about them, they were doubted that these were the kind of conspirators, or like they were giving the lots of military information to those people in German people. Like, I remember famous name there was, for I forgot the name. It was like some British and half Indonesian and some half European lady, very famous for it. And she was shot even in France because of that one. Her it was in First World War, not World War II. It was the World War One.
She was a spy.
Sanahara or some Sangahara or something like that. Tamahara or something like this kind of a name. And
Well,
yes, go ahead.
I was gonna refer back to Ray and say, were those ladies really prostitutes, or were they, well,
Double
Yeah,
agent.
that's why I'm
forced
asking the
into?
question.
They were like I want to say prisoners of war. You
Forced into
know,
They
they,
weren't.
They
yeah,
were
They weren't.
it
French.
was
They were
like
French.
forced,
No,
They were
no, they
French,
weren't.
actually.
They weren't prisoners of war
but
because
they
there was a.
were with the Germans.
Yeah, they were with the Germans. They had relations with the German army or
They
people.
had relations with the Germans, but you got to remember, the Germans didn't hold them as prisoners of war. They were living regular lifestyle. It was just under, and it wasn't even under German. It was a French. What was the government called? It was a French. I forgot what it was called. It beginning with a V. But I mean, it was kind of controlled by the Germans, but French people were controlling it. It was occupied. They were occupied by Germany. Nobody forced the Germans didn't force these women to have sex with them. These women did it voluntarily.
Are you
So
sure
would you?
about that?
I'm
Yeah,
positive.
most
No,
women
I'm
just
positive.
voluntarily just do it.
No, no.
But did
These
they
women.
do it because they
That's
would
why.
get a
No,
better
no.
life?
That's why they were humiliated
Better,
during after the liberation because they didn't
Okay.
have to do it.
better
They were
provisions and
humiliated.
rations?
Hmm? No, it was business as usual. So the if you were a civilian, you went to work as normal. It's just you were under German occupation, but you weren't a prison. You weren't considered a prisoner of war because you weren't a combatant. So these women actively sought out these men, and that's why they were humiliated after the liberation of France because the French people were like, you didn't have to do this. And why would you do this? You didn't have to do it. They didn't rape you. They didn't force you. Why would you date these men? So that was the question. That's why I was posing the question. Do we label these women? I don't know the answer to it. Do we label these women as prostitutes?
Means to an end. I don't know. No.
Matahara, I think, if I correctly now, still even I didn't find Matihara or Matahara.
It's
Yeah, what
very
does that
interesting.
mean, Montahara? I see that like on the back of on the bumper stickers. What does that mean, Montahara?
That
What's
one
that?
was a lady. That one was kind
A
of a
person?
conspirer to Germans. So she was a
No,
French, or like she was with the French and German, and then
She
she
was
was
a spy.
assassinated.
She was a spy.
Matihara.
Madi
Yes,
Hara.
she was
Yeah,
a
she was
kind
a
of a
spy.
high level kind of a like Matahari.
yeah, Ray, but your videos are nice for your learning. What is it? Ray's learning. What is it, Ray?
Dr. Ray's Learning Minute.
Dr. Ray's learning minute. I like those. Those are pretty good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes,
Geek.
yes.
This
All
means
right.
my opportunity to be a geek.
I enjoy going back and watching us on video too. I don't know if that's kind of wild too. I'll be like, look at us. Listen to us.
I watched last week's episode since I missed it. I went back and watched last
It was
week's.
pretty cool, right?
Yeah, and then I'm talking to the camera, like to my screen, like y'all can hear me.
Putting your part in, be like, this is my part here. Good, that's all right.
So we're gonna finish the book up now, right? And Tamara's up next. So, all right, prediction. How do you think this is going to end? You think it's going to end bad for Maria, or
I think this, in my opinion, follow whatever the books I have read. The one, what's called Winner Stands Alone, and the other one, Alchemist. So basically, he ends up like a sweet ending
hold on? The
most of the
winner
time.
stands alone. We read that book. That's one of our first books, right?
Our first book, yeah,
And Auntie
One of our
read
first books.
The Alchemist and stuff too. When she said she never
I
read
read.
none of his stuff, I was gonna say that, but it didn't come up. But yeah, Auntie, you've read them. I know you've read his other books before.
I think about it. I did read The Alchemist, but I didn't read Winter Stands Alone. I didn't read that one, but it wasn't after I opened my mouth and said, "Oh wait a minute, I did read something by him before."
Because
The
that pilgrimage book that he had, that book must, when I Googled that road to Santiago, because remember, I'm still stuck on that road to Santiago thing, right?
Yeah, that
But
one
I
is
was
in
like,
Alchemist. In
that's in the
Alchemist, he's going
Alchemist
from,
too.
Yeah,
yeah, that
it's
is
there.
It
going
talks
Yeah.
about.
from Spain to all the way to Egypt and to like
So
kind
how
of
could the
pyramids.
Alchemist be if they in would it be they in Switzerland somewhere? He talking
Even
about they
Even he's talking about something about alchemist in this book also. I remember last week I was talking about something. He said something about the alchemist, that he mentioned the alchemist book. There was a guy or a boy or a shepherd who was looking for something and then going up to he mentioned something.
I'll reread it and see.
Yeah, like I don't remember exactly, like probably around page 20, 25, something around that.
In the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning, yeah.
Well, I
All
hope that
right.
Maria, I hope she comes out victorious. So far, she has beat the odds. I'd like to see her the victor in this one. We thought in the beginning she was going to end up in some kind of sex trafficking situation, human trafficking situation. She was able to get out of that. Even when she went home with Ralph, I'm like, okay, why are you going home with him? Because of course having a coffee with him doesn't mean you know someone. But so far, she's been able to walk out of situations with her head still intact. So,
Oh, that's the scary thing about it. That's why I'm trying to figure out the winner stand alone. How did that end, Yasmin? How did that book end?
That one where you remember the Russian guy, what was his name? Some strange name was there. Victor,
Yeah, but
or
didn't that
something
have
like
a
that.
bad ending? But didn't that have a bad?
Yeah,
That had a
in
bad
that
ending,
case,
right?
yeah, he killed that guy, killed the other guys, but I think the lady survived.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see next week, I guess.
I hope
You
that
remember
the
by
end
the
up that she
seaside, what Hassan or something, that guy, the Moroccan guy, the designer,
I was gonna
Moroccan. Yes, go ahead.
say that book did end on a bad note because
Yeah,
Igor or whatever was
yeah,
killed, or he
Igor,
killed
Igor.
somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only thing that he killed everybody, I think, or the only thing I think he didn't kill. I don't remember the the lady was killed or not, but like everybody that
Yeah, but
by the
that book
seaside.
ended that had a really messed up ending, if I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the lady rejected him and he
Yes.
disconnected from reality. And
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
like he was living in a different world.
I hope Maria ends up on her farm that she wants, and just everything is good, and maybe she wound up with a nice club, and she learned how to be Madam Maria, like Milan.
There you go. I like that.
I don't know.
I think excuse me, it's gonna have a positive ending for Maria.
But I would in
But
that
she's gonna
question
be
I would
that
put,
top person that teach people how to get into their spiritual part to experience the experience.
yeah, but
I think she and Ralph are gonna move back to Brazil and live on the farm.
That's too beachy. That's too beachy.
Ralph he's talking about, he's not
That's
talking
too
about
perfect. That's too
Terrence.
perfect.
No, she's not talking about Terrence. She's talking about Ralph,
The artist.
the artist.
I'm so
I
confused.
want her to go
I
back
thought
to
each
her
time
guy
she
that's
was at the
waiting.
fire, each time she had fire and they went into the house. I'm confused between the house and the hotel room by the lake. The view. Yeah, I got the scenery as part.
The
I got
lake
the
from the
menu.
window
I
is
got the menu
Terrence.
stuff.
The lake from the window is is the Terrence and all those kind of bondage stuff, and the other one by the candlelight and other kind of things like that by the fireplace. That's with the
Because
Ralph.
it was messing me up a little bit. I was like, how did Ralph turn on her? Like, how did he
Yeah,
messing this up? He just want to
Ralph
start
Hart,
beating on her
Ralph
like
Hart,
that. Like,
and
what happened?
Terrence. Terrence only just mentioned Terrence. But my question is that would she be able to find love actually, what she's after?
I don't
I
think
don't know
she's
what is
really
her
looking for
definition.
love. I don't think she's looking for love. I think she's just
She
a big. I
is.
think she.
She
No, she's not
is.
look. No,
She's
she's
looking
not.
for money as well,
She
but
was
No.
searching. It was the pure, the desire. It
Yeah,
was all of
because
it in there.
even in her
It
journal,
was
she
deep
talks about looking for
emotionally.
love.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
but I
She
don't
said,
think she's true. I don't think she's truly looking for love. I think she's a
No,
23-year-old girl
money
who's
she has
just
already.
who's
That's why
everything.
they exchanged all of that energy and didn't touch each other sexually. That's why they did all of that.
I
And
don't
I
know.
don't
I
think
don't
she's
know.
looking for it now with her clients, but I think once
Yeah,
she leaves
yeah, in her life, yeah,
Geneva, then I think she's gonna be looking for love.
yeah,
Right now,
looking.
she just looking for paper. She looking for dollars, francs, and then I think
Uh,
when she goes back, or she's gonna take Ralph back with
Because
her.
they prostitutes over there got a small window. Back home, them women work way longer than 24, 25. Remember they were saying like the small window that they had, this window, these many years, then you gotta
Yeah,
go somewhere else to work. I
somewhere
was
else.
like,
Yeah,
they got a small window to get life done. Like, damn, like,
well, that's how he's getting these high class. That's how he's getting these high clientele people to come in.
Yeah, their
oh, by
shelf life,
saying,
their shelf life is very pretty short.
oh, I
So these
get
are
it. Kind of like I'm insulted in a way, but I get it, I
No,
think.
no, I'm talking about their shelf life.
so
In
you got to
that,
remember. You got to remember at the end of the day, Raph and Terrence, they're weirdos. Like they're weirdos because they're not looking for. They can be all intellectual all they want, but at the end of the day, they want 18 to 25-year-old girls. You know what I mean? So they can manipulate at the end of the day. They're not
Mm.
looking for a 35-year-old
Milan,
woman.
yeah, I
Milan
mean,
get
this
rid of
is
it too, because he don't employ him at that after that certain age over there. He
you
don't keep
you
him
you
around
you
either.
Yeah,
s- you saw
because he
how
wants the
many
high
months he was
clientele.
telling? How many months he was telling that most of the girls they would stay for how many months? Like 6 months or
Not
I
something
think
like
two
that.
many.
6 months,
years or something.
average six
Okay.
months, average 6 months.
Yeah. So you can imagine like how
Yeah,
short that window, if you call it,
yeah,
not
yeah.
shelf, but the window.
Well, so we all agree. We do hope she get the farm because she is learning about her farm management. So most people like the fact that she's learning the management side of it to me is like,
I
it's
don't
more
know
than
how
just
would she
having a
learn from
clean
the
thumb
book.
kind of thing.
I don't
Yeah.
know how you learn the English from the book or how you would learn farming from the book, how you would learn swimming from the book.
Well, she's
I
a
don't know.
smart
Easy
girl.
when
She
they tell you
she's
how to
Yeah,
breathe,
you got to have a
to come
base.
up, to breathe, come out, breathe
Yeah,
in.
but like
Yeah.
farming is like learning from the book is just like maybe theoretical too much.
Management,
I don't
like
know. She
business management. You could run a business, but you still got to know
Yeah,
who
but you
how
need
to
to learn
manage
is
them.
different thing. Different learning is different, and just
Yeah,
like
but she's a
knowing
smart
about
But
girl.
this.
She's a
and she
smart
did
girl.
say she was learning for management because she was gonna hire some people to
Yeah,
run the
that's somebody
farm.
else.
She
Yeah,
didn't say
that's what I
she was
said.
gonna do the farming.
Yeah, this
She
is
said
Right.
she
how
was
Paulo
gonna hire.
says. Yeah,
Yes.
Paulo. This is how we would go about it in different books, even as like
But it's like people that go to
alchemist.
college, the agriculture and technical colleges, they go to learn about the
Yeah, but
business
they do
of
lots of
farming and
practical.
agriculture.
Yeah, there are different ways of doing it, and also they go through lots of practical stuff.
Yeah,
Lots
because
of practical.
she didn't grow up on a farm, right? It wasn't like her mother and them was like, well, woman,
She's she's from a town, but they never had any kind of a farm, or she
I
didn't have
think
any kind of
I
farm
don't think it's going to
experience.
end well for Maria.
oh
Oh, okay.
gosh.
I think something. I
No,
don't
no,
think she's
she,
going to get that. I don't think it's going to end with that fairy tale. Yeah,
I
I think
think so.
something. Yeah, I don't. I don't think
I
so.
think
I
You
would
I
be
don't
think
think she gonna
surprised.
make it to Santiago? She ain't making it down that road.
I would be
I'm not sure about the
surprised
money.
if it ended in a nice, neat package. I think it's going
Yeah.
to end very messy and very possibly some heartbreak. I don't
Could
Mm.
know.
Terrence could Terrence end up killing her, choking her to death?
I don't think so. It would happen
I don't
either in
know.
Brazil
So
or in
Oh,
Switzerland.
Or Terrence's
Yeah.
wife.
no,
Oh
the
no,
wife
she's
doesn't
approving
mind.
it.
The wife
She's
gave
approving it.
permission,
She's happy.
and they've done it together.
oh geez, you guys
She's happy.
okay. I
She's
definitely
happy
gotta
for him.
start reading more.
She's happy for
Oh
him.
yeah,
That
no,
at
it's
least
steamy. It
because
gets steamy in the
because she
house.
was yeah, I mean
Gee,
she's actually happy that he's not trying that thing or those
with
things with her.
her. Okay.
Tamara,
Yes,
there was
she
a point in the
does.
book I had to.
Yeah, but she's
Tamara,
happy
there was a
for
point in the
him.
book. Tamara, there was a point in the book where I had to check my ID because I thought I was too young to read
I
the pages.
know.
But he did do that with her
I said,
because she changed her stage presence and her stage costume because of that. Remember, they
Oh, he left some
studied
marks on her.
together.
he
They
left
studied
what?
the S&M together
Oh, they did the
with the
S&M
wife.
together.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
He said she got
Well,
Yeah,
the
they did.
tattoo, and that's how she make
Yes,
her
yes.
money by being that persona, by portraying that
Yeah,
On
persona
stage.
too.
Yeah. And the
even
whip
she
became
tried.
her trademark.
Yeah, she
oh,
tried
okay.
his ideas. That's how she became more popular. Or like her shows were
Mm-hmm.
more into. She got a different clientele or more popular in the young generation, and like she was able to make more money that whatever she. But I'm talking about
Mm-hmm.
like she's basically not enjoying as like a person. She's happy that he is there and like he found something. That's what is written in the book. She's happy for him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'm
That
off
wasn't my
to the
All
pool
interpretation.
right.
and I will be reading. I'll be
Okay.
reading
Tamara,
by
you
the
better
pool.
hit that pool in the early morning, girl. It be too hot
No,
now.
I
I'm
was
at
going to
work
say,
early morning, so
Oh, you
it's
at work.
perfect.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah,
it's a
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
good thing. Good
it's
thing
Those
you're
are
at the
perfect now.
pool. So when you get
Yeah,
too hot, you can take you a dip to cool off.
exactly.
good.
It's
Yeah.
perfect now. Like around 5, that's when all the kids, a lot more kids. But it's summertime now. So yeah,
For
definitely.
me, for me, it's at 9 right after the maintenance guys clean it.
Okay.
No, 9:30. All right. See y'all next
All
week.
right. See you next
I
week.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Week, those of us who are still here, those of us who made it on the other side, Miss Yasmin, enjoy the States. And wherever you are, Mr. Sajid, enjoy where you are. Mr. Asan, are you still here? Or
Yeah,
are
I'm
you,
Riyadh. Yeah.
have you traveled?
No,
Dr. Ray,
no.
you still here? Did you travel?
No, Ray is also here.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah, I'm still here too. So,
Mm.
We'll be
Okay.
all right.
Take
We'll be
care.
all right.
yeah,
Take care.
Supposed to be here with me in Rochester.
I know, but we can't control, geopolitical situations.
You're planning to travel,
No, I'm
Dr.
not
Hassan?
now because of this. No, I'm
She
not.
was
No, it is
supposed to
going to.
be,
I
yeah.
think it has cooled down now. What I
Well,
read
we've
No,
today.
been,
I wouldn't get on a plane for the next month.
yeah, we've been asked, Aramco's asked us, those of us
Yes,
in certain
it is to
departments,
be on the safe
that if it's
side. Yeah.
non-essential, don't go,
Yeah.
don't
That's what I
travel.
said. She was supposed to be here with me in
Because
Rochester.
now they've said if you get stuck there,
You can get
this is
stuck.
on you. Your vacation is a certain amount of time, and if you get stuck any place in the region, it's on you to get back here the best way you can.
Yeah.
So, and
You
they will
have.
not take responsibility. I'd rather
I
stay
know.
here for now. This is too volatile at the moment.
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah. But it is what I understand. It's like now settling down. We don't know yet. But
I
we
don't
don't know
know.
yet as it appears because it's the very first day. It's too prematurely saying that it is going to settle down. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, right.
See, if you were here, Mahasan, you would have competition with walking because it's like 8 people outside walking at like 5:30 in the morning. I think they're having a competition of who can walk the fastest.
I don't
Oh,
know. But I did enjoy walking when I was there the last 2 years. It was fun. Right. That's okay. I'm walking home. I mean, I get up early and up on campus to walk. Anyway, have a great week, rest of everybody, and see you all next week.
see you next week.
Tamara,
Yeah.
I'm going to reach out to you and Khadija this weekend,
Okay.
Thank you.
inshallah. All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Bye-bye. Walaikum assalam.
Wa
Bye-bye.
alaikum salam. Wa alaikum salam.
Oh, did I
Shall I end the meeting, Ray? Because I am the host.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, end it.
Or shall I leave or you want to
No,
talk
no,
or
go ahead and end it. Go ahead and end it.
huh?
Yeah, end it. End the
Don't
meeting.
end it.
No, end it. End
End
it.
the
Finish.
meeting. Okay.
Halas.